Welcome friends, welcome back to Harmony Yoga. Today we're going to talk about celebrating more of the good and focusing on what we can do, not on what we can't do. Especially in this time of quarantine, we can kind of get hung up on thinking about all those things that we can't do because we're stuck at home. So we want to be focusing on the things we can do, and there's still plenty we can do at home. So if you're caught sitting on the couch a lot, keep trying to think of ways you can be active even in your own home, through cleaning or exercising. There's a lot of activities you can find online. So today we're going to focus on our mat though, about all the things we can do in our practice and not worrying about those things we can't do. So if there's a posture we're doing today that doesn't quite feel right for you, don't worry about that. Just explore in your body and do what does feel right for you. So go ahead and sit up nice and tall, close your eyes, roll your shoulders up and away from the floor, and then rotate the shoulder blades together onto the back. Perhaps you're sitting up on a blanket or a block so that you can be comfortable. Of course, sitting on a chair with your feet on the floor is always an option for us to get started. And I want you first to turn to the breath. So if you're like me, I need to remind myself to keep taking those deep breaths that bring us that greater sense of peace and calm. Letting the breath come down to the belly. Letting the ribs broaden. Maybe even feeling that all the way up into your chest. Breathing in and out through the nose. And maybe you notice as you first start, the breath is a little short. And by simply staying with the breath, focusing a little bit, maybe even letting out some held tension with a sigh. Letting that out. Now come back to the breath, nice and steady. Inhale and exhale. Feel free to add your own soft music to go along with the class today. Allow the mind to begin to soften, become present on your mat here. I'll take a few more breaths here. We'll begin to move on the mat. Inhale, focusing on what you can do. And exhaling out any care and concern about what you can't do. We come into that state of radical acceptance of what is. Inhale. We let go of the suffering that comes from focusing on the things that aren't in our reality right now. More deep breath in. Feeling the heart become more expansive, and then letting those feelings of gratitude or grace, prayers, blessings for those that are suffering today. Let that out into the world, trusting that our good intentions and our good prayers go to those people that need them the most. And begin to slowly open your eyes. Bring your block or a book up to the front of your mat so you have it where you need it, and then come onto your hands and knees. Curl the toes under, lift the head and heart forward, and exhale. We're going to come into a couple cat-cows here. So this is a very basic yoga posture. Toes are curled under, fingers are spread wide, letting the belly move down toward the earth on the inhale. And then exhale, rounding again, scooping the tailbone, letting your head release, letting go of any held tension up in the neck, and we'll go around one more time here. Good. And now stay just like you are in the body. Just bring the head, so you're looking out a little bit ahead of your mat, and then flatten that low back so you're not, your belly's not dropped, or you're not overly curved in the spine. It's a flat, neutral back. And then push your arms away from you. Keeping the arms straight, allow the shoulder blades to come together on the back and release the heart toward the floor. So right now, the only thing that's moving are the shoulder blades coming together on the back as you release the heart, and the shoulder blades spreading apart as you push your hands away from you. Let's go a couple more here and use the breath. Inhaling and exhaling, releasing the heart. Good, one more. Nice job. Now come into that neutral position and start to rotate yourself forward and making that figure eight, moving your hips back. So we're just exploring here, and maybe your head can go the opposite direction, making that figure eight with your whole body. If you've been sitting or in a tense position today, this will feel a little freeing because you're just exploring here the bounds of your shoulders and your hips. Maybe even the bottoms of your feet feel tense, perhaps your neck. Now go the opposite way. Kind of let go of any inhibition here, any holding pattern that you have. One more. It's kind of a funny move, but it feels good after a while. All right, so now we're going to come into this down dog. So walk your knees back or your hands forward either way. Curl the toes under and come into this downward facing dog. Bending one leg and then the other. Moving your hips side to side. And then bending both legs, look up at your hands. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, release your heels down, thighs back, heart toward the earth, lifting the outer armpits. Inhale, come to a child's pose. Exhale, fully release. Inhale again. Exhale fully. Inhale back up to downward facing dog. Extend the right leg up toward the sky. Pushing both hands away from you, release your heart toward the earth, still lifting those outer armpits. Good, release that leg down and lift the left leg up. You can slowly start to turn over towards your left if you like, or stay straight. We're just beginning to warm up here. Good, drop the left leg down and take a child's pose one more time. Inhale, lift back up, downward facing dog. Walk your feet forward, coming into a forward fold. Grab your block, place it onto the mat, highest setting. Inhale, lift the head and heart forward, and exhale, release down. Inhale, back up, and exhale down. This time bring the hands to the hips, elbows to the sky, lift halfway up. Lift and separate the toes, push down through the ball of the big toe and separate the little toes out to the side, and then push all the way down and rise. Nice job. We're going to go around now for the sun salutation. So inhale, lift your arms up to the sky, push your feet down into the earth, and let your heart rise a little higher. Maybe your arms and your fingertips rise higher. Exhale, come down to your forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, release down. Inhale, step the right leg back to deep lunge. Bending into the front leg, move the hips side to side. Inhale, lift the head and heart forward. Exhale, look back toward the belly. Good, release, step back to downward facing dog now. Even if you need your knees bent, remember we're focusing on what we can do. Being here on your mat at all is a benefit. If you need to bend your knees here in down dog, Feel free to do that. Press down through the mound of the index finger, lifting the hips, even lifting the heels, and then exhaling, lowering the heels. That may help you get into this posture in a more comfortable way. And then bring the right foot up between your hands, moving your hips side to side. And then inhale, lift the head and heart forward. And exhale, look back toward the belly. Good, and inhale, step the left leg forward, forward fold. So I have a little piece of plywood here underneath my mat to protect my hands from this deep pad I've got. That was a little different in my old house. We didn't have such a pad in the basement. So finding a chair roller or some firm surface under your hands may make your wrists feel better. So that's what I'm working with here today. Inhale, lift halfway up. Reach the hands to the hips, elbows to the sky, and inhale and rise. Reach the arms up to the sky, and exhale, come down now. Forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway up. We'll go around for sun salutation on the second side, and we'll add our cobra and chaturanga. So step the left leg back now to deep lunge. This time we're going to rise, reaching the arms up to the sky. So even if you need to keep your hands on your front knee, draw your ribs back, scoop the tailbone. That might be your posture right here. Or you can reach one arm or the other arm. So celebrating what you can do, don't worry about what you can't. Good, reach your hands down. Step back to top of a push-up, moving your block out of the way. Coming up onto your fingertips so the shoulders are right under the wrists, fingers are spread wide. Drag your elbows back. Come to the floor. Untuck your toes, drag your elbows back, hug them in, press the tops of the feet down. Exhale, release, push back to child's pose. Inhale, down dog. Here in your down dog, push your hands evenly into the earth. Shift your heels over to the right. Look under your left armpit. Keep the integrity in both arms, pushing down. Bring your heels back to center and over to the other side. Looking under the right armpit, hugging the arms together. Good, come back to center. This time we're going to take that left leg. Even if you need to reach back and grab it, you can even drop the right knee down. Grab that left foot. Straighten the back leg. Lifting that thigh higher. Avoiding the tendency to drop that back thigh. We want to keep that back thigh nice and lifted. Again, if you need to walk your hands up your front leg, feel free. Draw the ribs back, scoop the tailbone, staying there or reaching one arm or the other arm, or both. Hugging the arms together, hugging like you're scissoring the legs together, drawing that back heel back. Amazing. Bring your hands down and step forward, forward fold. Grab your block if you're not already using it for your forward fold. Using that under your hands. Now inhale, come up to standing. Take a wide stance now. Place your block in front of your mat on the long side of the mat. Turning the right toes toward the front of the mat. So your feet are now perpendicular. Move your inner thighs back. Scoop the base of your tailbone down and then bend into that front knee. So what can sometimes happen as we get older and a little more constricted is that knee sometimes wants to turn in. We want to try to resist that. So ideally, you want that knee to come over toward the little toe side. You may not be there yet, and that's okay. Let's work with what you have. We're celebrating what you can do, not what you can't, right? So moving that knee over toward the little toe side and then stretching your arms out shoulder height. Look out over your right fingers. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, feel the strength in your legs. Hug your legs together, move the inner thighs back, and then extend out And reverse that. Take the left hand down, the left leg, right arm up to the sky, reverse warrior. Good, and release. Now we're going to make both feet parallel, moving the inner thighs back, reaching yourself down to the block. So we're going to teach a little process here so you can find a comfortable place. Highest block, or highest setting on the block, inhale, lift the head and heart forward. Maybe that's your posture today. Maybe that feels like a really nice stretch for you. If you have a little more flexibility and you want to move the block down, that's an option. Perhaps out of the way. Maybe you want to grab your ankles. Maybe your head comes to the floor. So we're not striving. We are just working with what we have today. You want to broaden your feet apart a little bit. That might feel a little better. Keeping the spine nice and long, so we're not overstretching here. We're finding the envelope, pulling back a little bit. Nice deep breath in and out. One more time. Good. In whatever position you're in, bring your hands to your hips, elbows to the sky, push down through your feet and rise. Now we're going to go to these poses on the other side. So left toes face the short end of your mat, move your inner thighs back, scoop the tailbone, long side body, rotate the shoulders back, bring your arms out, shoulder height. Palms face up so you can elongate the spine and lift and open the heart, and then just flip your hands back. Now bend into that left knee, and remember we're trying to face that knee out toward the little toe side. The spine is neither reaching forward or back, it's straight up toward the sky, right? And then turn and look over your left fingers. Feel the strength in your legs, hug the legs together, keeping the legs just like they are. Rotate right hand down the right leg. Keep bending into that left knee, however. One deep breath in and out and release. Come back to that wide-legged forward fold. Maybe you try something a little bit different this time. Instead of bringing your hands to the floor, perhaps you bring your hands to the ankles. Or keeping the hands on the hips. Inhale, lift the spine halfway up. Bring the left hand down to the floor, reach the right arm up to the sky. Keep moving those inner thighs back. And now reach the right hand down and left arm up. Good, and release down, coming onto your elbows or onto the block. And then walk yourself over. Bring your block with you. Walk yourself back toward the front of your mat. Step the back foot forward. Bring the hands to the hips, elbows to the sky. Inhale and rise. Interlace your hands behind your back. Press your knuckles into the low back. Straighten up, pressing the knuckles in. Attempt to pull the hands apart. Draw the ribs back so you're not overarched here. Scoop the tailbone down and the ribs back. Staying here or straightening the arms if that feels like what your body is asking for. If not, remember we're content with what we have right now. So if this is it for you, stay here. Enjoy that chest and shoulder opener. Otherwise you can start to straighten the arms and maybe even fold over. If you fold over, feel free to inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. And then the next time we inhale, lift, come all the way up. Good. Cross the right arm in front. Left arm hugs it in. And we'll go the opposite way here. Taking the arm across the body. we'll go to the other side. So you're going to interlace your hands in the opposite direction, pressing the knuckles in. You may notice a significant difference between the sides, and that's okay, that's natural. That's why we try to balance that out through our yoga practice. Bending the knees, move the thighs back, scoop the tailbone, rotate the shoulders up and away, keeping here with the knuckles in the low back and the ribs back, separating the hands or straightening the arms, maybe even folding over. And again, we're going to inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. One more time, inhale, lift, and this time come all the way up. Now what we're going to do is stand on our left leg, bend the right knee, pick up the foot. So I'll turn this way so you can see. Grabbing that right foot, draw the knees together, inner thighs go back, and then I'm scooping the tailbone down, long side body, rotate the shoulders back, ribs go back. Scoop the tailbone down that standing leg for security, for support. Lift and separate the toes on that right foot, and the left arm can reach up toward the sky. Hug everything in toward that imaginary midline. Lifting the heart and noticing what's going right today. Good. And letting go of any disappointment about what's not going well today. All right, standing on the right foot, pick up the left. Draw the thighs back, scoop the tailbone, draw the knees together. Long side body, shoulders back. Right arm can reach up. Scooping the tailbone, hugging that heel in towards your bottom. Finding a place on the wall, a specific point that you can stare at, even trying to lift your gaze a little bit will help you stay upright. Nice job. Release that. Now, come onto your hands and knees. We're going to come into this pigeon posture. Now, last time we did this, I kind of gave you a couple options. So let's go into pigeon first. If you bring your right knee between your right wrist and the right side of your mat and walk the left leg back, notice how that makes you feel. If that doesn't feel right for you, no worries. For those that I'm going to show you here in a minute. For those of you that are fine in this posture, walk yourself forward using the block under your forehead or finding the floor. So working with what we have today, celebrating what we can do. For those of you that doesn't feel right, what you're going to do is take your right foot across your left outstretched leg and then grab a hold of the ankle and the knee and inhale and lift. And if that is not enough of a stretch into the hip, reach your hands back behind you and bring the left foot to the floor. Okay, now you can always walk your hands in, move your hips closer. That might be your posture there. Otherwise, we're back in this pigeon posture. That might feel like a nice release for some of you, but we know some hips and some knees don't enjoy this posture, and there's plenty of hip openers to go around. So find the one that works for you. Pause here with the breath. Now, if your hips need a little more challenge, then what you would do is lift your hips, kind of scooch them over to the right, drag your left hip forward and your right hip back. That might be enough of an increase of challenge there, or you can slowly walk that right foot so that the shin becomes parallel to the front of the mat. There's no need to rush here though. That can really put strain in the knee if the hips aren't ready for that. So listen to the body. I'm just giving you some options here. So you're working with what you have. One more deep breath in and out. And inhale and rise. Okay. Good. Taking that left leg in front and the right leg behind. So again, if you liked that pose, this one, you're going to stay here now. The right leg is extended, the left ankle is over the right knee. moving that knee this way, grabbing a hold here or behind. Or if you're coming into pigeon, you're walking that right leg back, left knees forward. You're going to inhale and just flare your inner thighs out to the left, right hip forward, left hip back, and then walk yourself forward. So those are some pointers to keep yourself healthy, keep yourself safe, and help you enjoy the challenge here. Resting down into this pigeon posture or into your upright hip stretch. Again, remember, if you need more of a challenge, flare out to the right or to the left, right hip forward, left hip back, and then you can walk that left foot forward. When you are ready, come up and out of the posture and hug your knees in. So this is a perfect opportunity to talk about yoga is not about trying to overstretch all of the joints. Having way open hips is not necessarily a goal. Creating a little more freedom in the hips is a good thing. Having strength in the hips is a good thing. So we want to really marry those two things, strength and opening. And yoga can do that if we are mindful. So that's why we really want to work with the body. A lot of times our bodies are made in ways that really dictate how our yoga practice looks. So we're not concerned about how it looks. It's really about how it feels to the body, and you're working with what you have, okay? So now we're going to teach again in another progression. So bring your knees in and come onto your tippy toes. Draw the low back in and up and open the heart. As you hug your knees in, can you feel your low back pull in? So now you're luring more onto the sitting bones. And then if you can pick your feet up, feel free to come with me here, picking the feet up. If that's too much, just bring your feet back down, right? So those are your options here. Now we're going to teach in the progression, so you can reach one leg out and one arm out, and then the other. Or stay right here, or you can do both. Now, if you're stretching out, extend the legs long and press the feet together. Still lift the heart, lift the low back, and you can come in and out of this posture as you like. This is called boat pose. So imagine you're a boat floating, lifting up now, not sinking down, but lifting up, and then cross your left leg in front of the right and fold yourself over. Switch your legs, fold over again. Extend your legs long. Press your hands into the earth behind you. Elongate the spine, lift and open the heart. Close your eyes. Just feel the body for a moment. Go ahead and move down onto your back. And we are going to take the feet out as wide as your sticky mat and let your head reach down. Hands can be right here onto your belly, letting the knees, like a windshield wiper, moving to the right, to the left. The next time you come over to the left, feel free to stay here. Again, keeping your feet as wide as your sticky mat, letting your knees flop open to the left. Reach the right arm up over the ear, so really stretching out this whole right side. Good, and release. The knees come over now to the right reaching the left arm up and over the ear, next to the ear, I should say. Stretching that whole left side. Take a deep breath in and imagine filling up this whole left side with that air. Go ahead and release. We're going to come into this happy baby posture. So we talk about doing what we can. One way to do this posture is just to grab behind your knees. The knees come down toward the armpits. The feet are straight up above the knees. Now you may be able to reach the little toe sides of your feet. Feel free to do that. But no worries if this feels like a better posture for you today. Feel free to rock a little bit here side to side. And then we're going to slowly come down. So take your time. We're going to come into the Shavasana position today. Pressing the elbows down, releasing the feet out to the side. Palms are facing up. Letting that breath flow through you so you become the observer of the breath. And notice now, after your yoga practice, if I ask you to observe, notice what your mind naturally wanders to. So we talk about observing without judgment. So there's no right or wrong. We're just checking things out. As you continue to scan the body, I want to share these words with you. It's quite interesting. We have all been trained to pay attention to what is wrong. And all these wrong things we find are stickier in the brain than positive things. So, for us to grow and thrive, we need to track more of the good, the successes, the positive things, and commit to use the information we might gain from our mistakes, all in a means to improve. Because the more we notice what's right, the more increased connection we have within ourselves and with other people. So as you're laying in the Shavasana position right now, see if you can scan and look for positive things. Maybe the energy itself just feels more light, more alive, more positive. Maybe with your eyes closed, you can see some color. I know that was something that always happened to me after a yoga practice. That was always so exciting to see all the different colors that would go through my mind. So no matter what it is that you see, there's no right or wrong here, but notice the positive. And then you are welcome to stay here and rest as long as you like, or start to make some subtle movements with the fingers and the toes, the ankles and the wrists, and hug your knees into your chest. Rolling onto the right side, taking a breath or two, and coming upright. So whether you are still in your Shavasana position or if you've joined me in this upright posture, in either way, I bring my hands to the heart and bow in gratitude for you and for this opportunity to be together. Focusing on what we can do helps up everything up in the brain. It helps the heart, helps our connections. So keep your heart lifted, stay connected to what's important to you, giving thanks for all the goodness in our lives and offering prayers and blessings to those who are struggling today. Thank you so much. Blessings.